My friends, let's do a soul tribe reading. I missed you yesterday. I did do a reading yesterday, but I didn't do a soul tribe reading. I wasn't feeling it. And then guess what? I was feeling awful unfulfilled yesterday at the end of my day. I was feeling like something was missing. I was feeling kind of low yesterday. I said to my friend, I'm just feeling blah. You know, when you just feel blah? But anyway, again, I didn't do a soul tribe reading, so you guys do feel my fire. And right before I started this reading, an affirmation popped down that says, find your tribe that will help you ascend to the top of your mountain or be happy for you when you're at the top of the mountain or something. And anyway, it was just like a very nice confirmation for me because you guys are my tribe. Anyway, today, the chapter that we're reading is 10 signs you're actually making progress in life, even if it doesn't feel like you are. And actually, that's how I was feeling yesterday. So that's really interesting. Like, I know on paper, I know when I have an honest conversation with myself, I know how far I've come. I know how far I've come, like when I stop and think about it. But I think we all experience days where we just kind of feel like we're spinning our tires, we're not getting anywhere, nothing's happening. I myself am feeling, kind of like there's something missing. I don't know what it is. You know, I'm doing really well in my life. It just kind of feels, I don't know, I don't know if there's something coming into my life or there's something out of alignment. But apparently, when you feel, like there's something missing, or you're feeling restless, like every day is just the same, it's symbolic of one, something being out of alignment, or two, your life is about to change. So anyway, don't know why I'm telling you all of this. But it's interesting that that's the chapter we're going to read today, because a lot of the time, it's like when you have, I know we don't all have children, so I won't use children as an example, but it's like when you have a puppy, okay? You get a puppy or a kitten, and they're so small and they're so cute, and you don't actually see how much they're growing when you're looking at them every day and interacting with them every day. But when you look at pictures and you look back at the progress, you can see how much they've changed, how much they've grown. I can remember, just with my own kids or pets, when they were in that stage where they were growing, especially I'm remembering my border collie, Gracie. I love you. Rest in peace, Gracie. I can remember that I felt like she wasn't growing at all. And then I went away for a weekend, and I came back and I saw a huge shift in her growth. So again, sometimes in our own journeys, we can kind of get into this cycle of repeat and feel like we're not going anywhere, when in reality we are. We're changing, we're evolving. Again, I know that I'm a completely different person now than I was 3 years ago. It's shocking to me. It's shocking to the people who know me as well. But there are days where I feel like, am I even getting anywhere? That self-doubt creeps in. I think that's totally normal. I also wanted to mention I've been spending some time, excuse me, I've been spending some time listening to I've been spending time listening to what's coming up with this full moon. So the full moon is in Aries, or it's in the sign of Aries, or something is going on. Anyway, don't quote me on that, but I know that it has to do with Aries. I don't know enough about it to speak about it confidently, but you guys are my soul tribe, and I know you don't care if I'm whatever. Anyway. So it is in the sign of Aries, so it's causing people to want to take action, or it's causing this restless energy and making people feel like they need to, take action, go after their dreams, go after whatever it is that you're feeling called to take action towards. I'm kind of hearing the energy of 3, 2, 1, go. It feels like something's supposed to be happening. The other thing that I was listening to had to do with this moon, and about how it's going to, because it's like a super full moon. It's very close to the earth, and it's going to trigger some old wounds to make sure these cycles have healed. So one thing I thought I'd mention to you guys is to make sure, like if you're feeling triggered, not to react from a triggered space, but to take some time to cool your emotions before you respond or react. And that goes for like work, love, like even me as a parent. Be on the lookout for that. Moons are powerful. Like I used to joke like, oh, full moon, that's why my kids are acting crazy. But it's actually like full moons are full of very potent energy. So they're very intense. So you could be feeling very intense energy. You could be feeling restless like me. But I just wanted to, as someone who's working on their shadows and working on their triggers, I just wanted to bring that up with you guys in case that's something that you struggle with. Like acting from, like I'm seeing Knight of Swords act like reactions. But yeah, I just wanted to bring it up because I'm looking out for you. Anyway, so we'll read that in a minute. I actually grabbed a deck before I started this reading about, you'll have to forgive me. This Alana Fairchild, I love these decks. But sometimes I feel very self-conscious reading from the book because sometimes there's a lot of words that I don't recognize, and I used to read from them more, and I realized recently that I haven't been grabbing them because of fear of like not being able to pronounce the words, or appearing like, I can't remember what it was. It's a good thing that I can't remember. But last year, I had somebody make a comment that like ripped me to shreds. And they said, it's so clear that you're uneducated and you have the reading level of a third grader. And it was just like, of course there was, yes, I don't read well because I'm dyslexic. But it was just really triggering for me. And that's why it's been such a huge hurdle for me to read this book to you because, again, that comment really ripped through me. But anyway, I said, okay, get this deck. It's called Sacred Rebels Oracle. And the reason I got it is because it says it's guidance for living a unique and authentic life. And anytime I've used this deck, I've really enjoyed the cards, so I wanted to get it for my soul tribe. I think the last time I used it was back when I had my Patreon open. It's not open right now. But yeah, I wanted to see what we need to hear about living your true authentic self. It's so interesting. I came across a video recently by this feminine who is like, I'm not judging. I have listened to some of her content about like black cat energy and, valuing yourself, putting up boundaries. But she put up a video that was like, you're ruining your life by being your authentic self. And I thought, that's not a message that I'm not going to listen to that, because as someone who wasn't her authentic self for 35 years, I am much happier being my authentic self. So that's kind of why I grabbed this deck too, to encourage others to be their authentic selves. But anyway, that's enough of that. That was like 9 minutes of nothing. No, I'm putting myself down by saying that. I'm putting myself down by saying that. I know that you guys don't mind hearing what I have to say. I know some of you love hearing what I have to say and relate to it. So we have listening for truth. Interesting. I'll just give it one more shuffle. One more. We have focus on the light. Beautiful. And let's see what wants to come out for you. I'm just going to restart this video. So let's cut the deck and we'll see what's on the bottom. We have shock of the new. And I was just talking about how sometimes before something new comes into our life, we start to feel restless because we can energetically feel that it's coming. Our higher self knows there's supposed to be something happening right now. So let's get it. Let's talk about this card. Shock of the new. And it's 6. For some of you, it could be new love. Okay, it's on page 42, which is 6. So 6 could be symbolic. What wild, unconventional voice is calling to you? Can you hear it? It is so different and so unusual, it might be hard to decipher. Like hearing an unfamiliar language for the first time. It might be hard to discern with great clarity now, but there is an affinity between you and this strangely beautiful newness seeking to manifest. This oracle says there's a stirring at the deepest level within you. Something new will break through, and the process of this birth might shock you. The shock will transform into great joy and a sense of tremendous liberation, but you must bear the strangeness first. The strangeness might be something that rattles your beliefs about yourself and your world, daring you to become more of yourself, more open to where life is leading you, and more willing to be the unique sacred art being crafted by the hand of the universal creator. Nature never shies away from strange beauty. She allows for endless diversity, and her sacred works are often peculiar and stunning. You live within her field of creative grace, as especially, oh my goodness, see what I mean? As a specially created work that also creates. You are being asked to surrender any fear you have of being seen as exotic, unusual, eccentric, or bizarre. And what was I just saying? I was just saying about how that woman was saying you're hindering yourself by being your true authentic self. And I feel the complete opposite. I feel like I was hindering myself by not being my true authentic self. And it's interesting, this energy that this is describing, where you may feel anger, it reminds me of when, I first realized that I had all of these neurodivergencies, highly spiritual being from another planet. And I remember how shocking it was to me that I had lived in the shadows for so long, and that I had been afraid of my true self for so long, and afraid of my voice, and afraid of my laughter. And, I told you guys like 3 years ago or 4 years ago, whenever it was, when I first started on social media, looking back, I noticed that I would never move my face. Like it was like this all the time. I would just look like this all the time. Anyway, and it creeped people out when people who knew me, look, I'm drooling everywhere. People who knew me in real life, all of a sudden, I was making faces and I was smiling, and they didn't even recognize me. And I did have that fear of being seen as bizarre. People call me eccentric and quirky all the time. I take that as a compliment now. It triggers other people. I've had people say, you're a grown woman. Aren't you ashamed at the way you're acting? Just being my true authentic self, laughing and, anyway, I don't know what the point of all that was. Picked my book up upside down, of course. So, you are being asked to surrender any fear you may have of being seen as exotic, unusual, eccentric, or bizarre. Please be bizarre, be eccentric, eccentric. Oh no, hang on. My cat was just using the bathroom, so I had to pause it. You are being asked to make peace with strange beauty and let it happen through you in creative flow. Perhaps you need to allow your conventional ideas of beauty to become even more inspired and open. Perhaps you can allow your need for the world to behave according to your fixed ideas to fall away. You will receive so much more in its place. This oracle comes with a special message for you. There are rumblings and stirrings of the creative life force happening now, deep in the undercurrents of your being. If you are very attuned or sensitive, you may have consciously felt this already, with excitement, discomfort, or both. If you have not yet sensed these inner stirrings, they are happening all the same. So be on the lookout for a big shift of new birth, the shock of the new, the unconventional, the strangely beautiful and the disturbing liberation of that which is foreign stepping into your life. This is life creating the stage upon which you will experience greater fulfillment. Don't be nervous if the rumble of change turns into a mighty roar that rocks boats, bursts forth as novel ideas, and changes things in a way that is out of your control. This is life happening. Free fall into it. The oracle of the shock of the new comes to you saying, the old is on its way out. You are being invited, dragged, I love it, dragged, nurtured and coerced into the new. You can handle it. This oracle brings you guidance. You are about to encounter something new and different in your life. This is helpful. Don't reject it, no matter how small or insignificant or how powerful and life-changing it may seem to be. You are being asked to dispense with your reliance on the past and what have been your tools to navigate life. You have outgrown your old methods. You will have to fly by the seat of your pants, so to speak, as you experiment with new ways to be. Life will show you the way. Beautiful. I love that. So let's see what wants to come out for you. I could sit here all day and just read you card after card, but let's see what Spirit wants to bring out for you. Okay. So we have 23 here, and the way that these soul tribe readings work is we have kind of a broad range of people here, so you might not resonate with all the cards, but I read them anyway. We have 23, defend to the end, the worthwhile. Interesting. 23. My cat is playing with a catnip toy right now, and he's purring his little buns off. Oh my gosh, guess what page it's on? Guess! What page do we end up on every single day? 100 and 101. Love it. Love it. Beneath the illusions, pretty as they may seem, you know what is real. Beneath the lies, sweet though they may sound, you know what is worthwhile. All that is genuinely and truly essential for the heart to throb with life is worthwhile. Anything that dulls it or suffocates its vibrant aliveness, that's not an affirmation, must be questioned, challenged, and more than likely cast aside, for the heart is our key to living an authentic life. What is there once that is compromised? What is there once that is compromised? Without its foundation of truth, we are to be forever lost in confusion, doubt, and despair. You are a sacred warrior, a defender of the heart. You have cried thanks, Wally. You have cried genuine tears of your own grief and also the grief of the world. You have raged at injustice. Are you a Libra too? You have raged at injustice and oppression in your own life and in the world. You have felt the need to protect the presence of love, for whilst it is exceptionally powerful, it can too easily be smothered under lies and fears. The sacred warrior must not heed the dangerous voices that say, "Oh, stop being so sensitive. Stop making such a big deal out of things. Love is the biggest deal there is. What else is worth being so sensitive about?" I'm hearing Princess Bride when Billy Crystal's like, what have you got that's worth living for? And he says, true love. Anyway, I don't know why I'm telling you that. The sacred warrior is vigilant that the presence of love is not chipped away by fear, criticism, doubt, or untruths. Even if others find the unflinching honesty of your feelings difficult to handle, even if those feelings are expressed with gentleness and compassion, the sacred warrior honors the task of being more faithful to love than anything else. This includes the fear of loss. Actually, it includes the fear of anything at all. This oracle brings guidance to honor even the smallest steps in your path of the sacred warrior. They are no less important than the most noticeable or dramatic actions on the path. One single misstep can begin a landslide of great devastation. Being vigilant with what is meaningful and what is truthful, even in the smallest and seemingly most insignificant ways, strengthens the sacred warrior, and prevents darkness from gaining a stronghold from the inside. Oh my gosh, do you see what I mean? The darkness will be intelligent and sneaky. It will tell you that it doesn't matter, that this one time you can forget what you promised, that you are just one person and that you can't make a difference anyway. Truth. Your ego will tell you that. That darkness will lure you into sleepy ambivalence and dull your light if you allow it to. The sacred warrior within will fight with love and honor to be true to what has meaning and never ever allow it to be cast aside, even if it seems easier in the moment. The sacred warrior finds joy and humor in life to prevent the seriousness of the task from stifling the heart that just wants to live and be free. The joy brings strength to the warrior and an expanded, relaxed awareness that can sense the presence of fear, whether it is masked as anger, hate, or doubt, and immediately respond to it with fierce compassion. The sacred warrior will not allow fear to gain a stronghold within the heart. This oracle has special guidance for you. You are being asked to stay strong and stand your ground. This might be in a big emotional journey that feels like the fight of your life. It may be in a matter that does not seem to hold much importance. Perhaps, for example, you are contemplating an idea that you feel could be something, but those around you declare it is nothing much, too impractical, too little, or too much. However, what is happening or soon will be happening is worthwhile, so hold tight. Ask for help through the healing process below. Stay true to the sacred warrior of love that you are and defend to the end all that is worthwhile. Interesting. Put your hands on your heart and say, I call upon the sacred warriors of unconditional love. I ask for your support, protection, assistance, and intervention on my behalf through unconditional love, that what is truly worthwhile for the light and life of the heart to be protected and preserved within me and in the world for the greater good through my own free will, so be it. Repeat this up to 3 times if you wish. This could be said once or twice daily during times where you feel you are fighting to be heard, fighting to salvage your creative ideas from the critical voices of others, or fighting for your right to simply be yourself and live your truth in the world. You can also use it for any other purpose that feels worthwhile to your heart. These declarations have power. Use that power freely and with great joy. 333 on the timer. So let's get another one. They're shuffling kind of weird right now. Hang on. Let's see what we need to hear. Spirit? No? We have 2 coming out. And it's number 10 and 1. So we'll see if they're related. We have after the storm, and then we have releasing allegiances. So let's see what these are about. After the storm, releasing allegiances. So let's do 10 first. I think that was the first one I saw. Okay. Listen to this one. It's time to hold on to yourself and let go of another, even if just for a time. You have gained all that was meant to be from that connection, at least for now. You have given and you have received. The need to let go does not deny the value of what has been acquired. It is more that the time has come for greater productivity, creativity, abundance, and consciousness in your life. You have completed many cycles in the vibrational frequency of consciousness that you are now being asked to release. You have been in that vibrational frequency for some time now. You have earned the right to step out of that frequency, out of the habits, relationships, and the possibilities that are limited to the outmoded frequency. It is now time to expand into higher frequencies of experience that will bring you enhanced love, empowerment, and peace. You will take the wisdom of what you have learned with you into something new connections, new relationships, new life experiences at a higher turn of the spiral of life. But first, you. Trust that you can step into solitude for a time without being consumed by loneliness. It is time to reconnect with yourself. Perhaps you've had a period of outward orientation where your energy has been diverted away from the inner journey of self-discovery and creative self-expression and into the world of lists, schedules, and demands. Trust that you may need to step back momentarily, even from your healthy relationships and commitments, to refresh your spirit by reconnecting with your own nature in solitude. Perhaps you have been diving so deep into the creative waters that you have lost your bearings or your energetic connection to the earth, your own life, and your needs in the here and now. Either way, you need to come back to the ground in your own body. This is a time for self-love, for paying attention to yourself, for nurturing, holding, and being with you. It doesn't mean you can't love another. It just means that you need to turn your attention inwards for a time, for some quality time with you. You will emerge renewed, refreshed, and clearer about your journey and your relationships as a result of this. This oracle is also a confirmation that the work you have been doing on yourself is working for you. Your level of self-love is growing, and your ability to love consciously and healthily is increasing as a result. Some connections in your life will mature with you, and your regard and affection will deepen and blossom. It will be revealed that other relationships are no longer relevant to your life's journey. You will know which is which because you will feel it. You will feel it most clearly when you have some time to be with yourself in reconnection. I'm spitting. I'm so sorry. I'm spitting on you. Get an umbrella. You have been contemplating a change in lifestyle, and if you have been contemplating a change in lifestyle, enrolling in a class or joining a group, starting a project, or setting aside time to focus on your own inner work, then this oracle comes as a confirmation that these things would be supportive, healthy, and helpful for you. This oracle also comes with particular guidance. There is a situation that has recently arisen, or one that will arise soon, where you need to back yourself. Don't be put upon or hoodwinked into backing down by the emotional reactions of others. Stand your ground and stay aligned with what you know to be true, which also came out in that card, Defend to the End Worthwhile. It talked about standing your ground. No matter how wonderful something seems logically or on the surface, if it doesn't feel right for you, it's not right at this time. Perhaps that will change and it will be right for you later. Perhaps you will step away and realize with relief that you had a lucky escape from a situation that could have ended up unnecessarily costing you. Either way, backing yourself and not giving in to the opinion of another, no matter how highly you would have rated that opinion in the past, is important. It is highly likely that you are breaking with tradition, with a role model or a belief system that you have outgrown. You must be there for yourself because you are doing well, you are on the right path, and you are growing. Well done. So I can't help but talk about the fact that, since I started my spiritual awakening, people have come into my life and they've left my life. Some have come into my life and stayed. Some of the people who were in my life before, not in it anymore. This card was actually really hitting home for me it talks about a role model. And this card was really hitting home for me the fact that when I healed and I tried to make amends with my family, it was very clear to me they're not in that healing energy. And I had to, unfortunately, not release them, but I needed to protect my energy. Anyway, interesting. And it doesn't mean, like this card said, just because you're pulling your energy back from someone or something doesn't mean it's forever. But for me, in my experience, like not everything that I released came back. Some of it stayed gone. And I have to trust that's for my highest good, even though it hurts, you know? I was thinking about it. It's been like 10 months since I heard anything from my mom. I reached out 10 months ago, with a very I wasn't arguing with her. I was just like, if you're ready to have a healthy connection and have a healthy conversation about what happened in our family dynamic, you know, I'm here. I want you to be a part of my life. My kids want you to be a part of their life. And that was, nope, no. Anyway, I tried several times to build that bridge with my parents, and it's clear to me that they don't want to build that bridge. And I've had to learn I can't build that bridge myself. You know, I tried. Anyway, for some reason, my parents were weighing heavily on my mind when I was reading that card. The healing journey is hard because you end up ascending and then losing people in the process that you're no longer aligned with. Like I talk about it sometimes, you know, my best friend and I are not very much in alignment these days. Like the things we talk about, we're in very different places of our life. We believe in very different things. It's hard, you know, it's hard. So my heart goes out to you. If you're in that energy where you're having to release someone or something, you can hear my voice quivering. Healing is a very lonely journey. Not everybody else wants to heal. Anyway, let's keep going. Number 1. After the storm. So this storm could be after you release this or after you have your time alone. After the storm. The world may try to tell me otherwise, but I know inner peace is possible. That's the affirmation that just popped down. Love it. There's a thunderstorm about. It is either headed your way. Oh my gosh, I was sitting outside last night in a thunderstorm. It was like thunder and lightning, and I thought, I'm going to go sit outside and watch it. Of course, I had the fear that, you know, what if I get struck by lightning? But it was worth it. There's a thunderstorm about. It is either headed your way or just passing through now. Don't make a thunderstorm mean more than what it is, though. You don't have to fear it. You might even feel excitement. After all, a thunderstorm is just nature's way of gathering energy together that needs to be released. I love that. I'm going to remember that for the next time I see lightning and thunder. With a release of tension, relief, and freedom soon follow, often with a fresh perspective and perhaps a gift of a promising, hopeful vision for your future. And these cards came out together. So, interesting. I still need that card. Perhaps the peculiar storm building within you or around you is causing you to quake in your boots. It might be a storm of building emotions threatening to erupt or already exploding, and seemingly beyond your conscious control. You might feel an uncomfortable sense of emotional or psychological pressure within, and if something doesn't happen, and soon, you fear you might burst. You may also sense that there are forces operating beyond your control, and you would be right. There is, in life and in the creative process, a need to allow for wild storms. There will be those precious moments of peace beforehand, and the release and the revitalization that follows, yet the storm in the middle is essential. It is a natural part of the creative process. Without this building and releasing of energy, we would suffer from boredom and stagnancy. You may prefer the excitement of the storm or the fresh, open feeling that accompanies its clearing. You may find it confronting to be faced with the power of something in which you can only participate rather than control. Either way, the storm wisdom offers you the gift of bringing things to a head and clearing them away, so that the energy can be freed from a pattern that has had its day and is ready to become something new. Sometimes the pressures that fuel the storms of our lives have been building up for a long time, without us being fully aware of it. It might be pressure from our own minds, creating unnecessary burdens upon us, such as burdens of self-doubt or fear. It could be pressure to appear in a certain way or to fight against life out of a mistaken belief that this is necessary for survival. Sometimes the pressure is little more than the impossible dream of perfection and a need to gently, or even with great dramatic flourish, cast that aside, so that when you can dare to be what you are, so that you can dare to be what you are and create from your heart. Even if you are not sure about what the storm is about, don't lose confidence in your ability to successfully bear its progression until you are safely at the other side of the experience. Even amongst the chaos of change and in the moments of anxiety, know that you have so much light and trust in your heart that you can see the storm is but a passing process and nothing that need worry you. If you can't sense the storm yet, this oracle is important for you. The storm, I'm sure I'm saying that word wrong. The storm is coming, and if you wish, feel the beautiful, exhilarating gift of it as you are empowered to cast aside what has been and receive the gift of a fresh new take on things. Your confidence is to remain intact, whatever is happening or soon will happen in your life. This storm of sorts is transformational and supportive of your growth. It is going to clear away cobwebs and free you, open you to new creative energy and life. Remember, there can be no rainbows without a little rain. This oracle is also confirmation that if you have been praying to help, your prayers have been heard, and the great creative intelligence of our universe is responding to you, stepping in and shaking things up so that situations can be sorted out according to greater wisdom. So let go, hold on to your inner self, and allow everything to be cleansed in the sacred storm. So interesting. It's interesting because it says if you have been praying for help, and just like full transparency, 2 nights ago, I was like in my bed right before I went to bed asking the universe for guidance. So that's interesting. So healing process, I'm going to read this to you. Find a place where you can be alone and have some privacy, either inside or perhaps out in nature. When you are ready, repeat the following, where possible, with your arms up and open to the sky. So if you know, I used to worry so much about what people thought of me. Like, I probably would have never went and stood outside with my arms up in the air. I accept whatever comes as if I have chosen it. That's your affirmation. Anyway, who cares what people think? They're never going to see you again. Repeat this with your arms open to the sky like this little owl. Storms so wild, storms of grace, I call your blessing into my heart now. May I release and let go. May I be revitalized and grow. I open my heart to you now. Storms of grace, I stand my ground as I allow your magic to cleanse and surround. Any outgrown energy which I no longer need, anything which will sap or deplete rather than feed. Storms of grace, merciful earth, with your help I experience rebirth. When you have completed this declaration, simply place your hands in a prayer at your heart and close your eyes for a moment. Breathe in and out and be aware of yourself, what you feel, and what is happening in your body. From the top of your head to the soles of your feet. Then say, through divine creative genius, this is now so. You have completed your healing process. All right, so let's get into this book now. Let's get into the book. Thank you for listening, my friends. Thank you for listening to that. If this is where you leave me because you don't want to hear the book, I'll catch you on the flip side. So this is a little bit of a longer chapter. Hopefully it doesn't take me too long to read it. All right. So, 10 signs you are actually making progress in your life, even if it doesn't feel like you are. Even here, even now, you are growing. I know it seems like the only way to measure your progress is by timing, milestones, and goals reached. But in reality, progress is more about how we get into alignment with what we need and want, and less about how perfectly we paint the outward picture of what we think we're supposed to be. This is why it is often the most counterintuitive times that provide us the most opportunity for growth. Here are a few signs that you're actually making incredible progress in life, even if it doesn't feel like you are. Here we go. This is going to touch into some of those cards we were just reading about. Listen to this one. You've lost relationships. Maybe you look back and feel sad about everybody you've lost touch with. Maybe you reflect on all your would-be relationships and whether or not you tried hard enough. Maybe you think of all the friends and acquaintances that have crossed your path and regret not remaining closer. Maybe you look back at the support you had and wonder why you ever chose to move on to your own path. Losing relationships is often a sign that we're growing into the people we're supposed to be. We aren't meant to have the exact same circle of friends and acquaintances for the entirety of our lives. Unless those people grow in perfect congruence with us, we often step out of pace with them as they head down their own paths in life. This isn't necessarily a bad thing. It's not a sign of failure. In fact, the willingness to let go of a social comfort in order to pursue what feels more authentic to you is a sign of massive, incredible growth. We don't lose relationships because we're not worthy of them. We lose them because we're mismatched to them. That's usually a good indicator that we've grown, we've changed, and we need to realign with people who understand who we're becoming, not just who we've been. And I have to mention this because I do a lot of love readings, and I myself internalized losing relationships. Like I would think, it says we don't lose relationships because we're not worthy of them. And I would internalize my relationships, and I'd sit around thinking about my parents, thinking am I not worthy of having parents? Am I not a worthy child? Am I not worthy of love? And that had nothing to do with it. It had to do with the fact that I had outgrown my family, and my family, very stagnant, like all of my family, very stagnant. And have been for my entire lives. Anyway, I think it's important not to internalize, when, again, it's not that you're not worthy of them, it's that you're mismatched, you're mismatched to that person. I try and tell people in my love readings, if someone rejected you or projected onto you or told you were a piece of crap, that has more to do with what's going on with them than it has to do with you. But anyway, I don't even know why I'm talking about that. Number 2, you're doubting your next step. If you're not doubting your next step, it's not the right step. I know that seems wrong, as though the most correct thing would absolve any doubt, any fear, any worry from your mind. The more right it is, the more you're going to have unconscious, emotional, and often embodied reaction. You're scared because you care. You're doubting because this actually means something to you. You're nervous because it's unfamiliar. You're finally choosing something you actually desire. You're confronting the limiting beliefs that have held you back from it all this time, and you're actually putting something on the line for once. You're no longer content to follow someone else's success script. That was a hard one for me. You're no longer just passively floating through your existence. You're making a choice, and that comes with discomfort. That comes with responsibility, and often that comes with fear. Thank you, Blubberface. Somebody just left me a tip on YouTube. Blubberface, thank you. Those screen names. Too many people won't leap because they're afraid of that initial jolt. But they also never learn to spread their wings, and they never arrive anywhere else. That's what I was talking about with my family. Anyway. Number 3, you feel slightly embarrassed of your past self. Yes, cringy almost. Oh, it says cringe. When you think back to who you were even just a year ago, you might cringe. Truth. While this is an incredibly valid experience to have, and a common one at that, please know it's not a sign that you were an awful person before, but that you're coming into a greater self-awareness who you about who you do and do not want to be. Please know that nobody is or ever was judging you as much as you are judging yourself right now. In addition, I was just talking about how I used to not move my face. Anyway, and about how cringy that was. Again, it's true. I look at the past version of myself, even last year, and I'm like, ooh. In addition, this is a natural part of the process of positive disintegration. Your old self is no longer suited to manage the life you have today, and so they must transform into who you are becoming now. Number 4, you're slowing down. I was just thinking yesterday about how I feel like my journey has been slowing down recently. Like for the first few years of my healing journey, I felt like I was, it was like everything was moving. I was evolving. I was doing all this shadow work. I was doing all this reflection. I was like working with the moon. Anyway, rather than rapid, intense acceleration, you're interested in mindful, intentional decision making. When we slow down, it's because we're no longer just running away from what's wrong, but learning to step towards what's right. Maybe you realized that you needed a break. Maybe you saw clearly that your workload was unsustainable. Maybe you finally came to terms with the fact that you've been overextended and burnt out, and something had to give eventually. Instead of trying to push through all of your body's signals that you're doing too much, growth is when we slow down and start to listen to what they've been trying to say all along. And we talk about this, about listening to our bodies. In this stillness and rest, we often find answers we didn't know we were asking for. Number 5, you're starting to care more about how you feel as opposed to what other people think. You are no longer content to live a life designed to appease everyone but yourself. Sometimes this can emerge as sort of anger or aggression. You find yourself completely fed up with everybody else's judgments and shortcomings. You might feel like you want to lash out or cut ties with the people so that you can relieve yourself from some of the pressure. There are boundaries to be set here, and first and foremost, that begins with you. You have to start by making decisions for your life. Not your parents' lives, not your friends' lives, not your partner's life, not your peers' lives. When you start stepping forward into your full truth, give people a chance to respond to you instead of just assuming how they'll react. You can make a call about your relationship from there. If, on the other hand, you're looking back on instances in which you didn't set boundaries that you should have and are regretting your lack of self-respect, write it all down. Put it in a drawer and come back to it tomorrow. Is there anything worth sharing with the people involved? Would it bring you peace to approach them and let them know how you feel, or would it just bring more stress? Again, when I was talking about my mom, that's what I tried to do last year. Anyway, that's a decision you can make for yourself, but first, know that it's a great sign of growth that you're actually angry enough to stop living by an invisible set of rules set forth by people who do not have to walk in your shoes. 6, you're processing feelings you forgot about. Displaced emotions are feelings that either don't have a discernible root or seem like an overreaction given the situation. Often these feelings are actually related to something entirely different and have been triggered by your current circumstances. In the same way that your body sheds skin cells and excess weight each day, this is yet another way that your body releases memories and emotional responses from your tissues and cells. This will probably be more pronounced if you have a history of suppressing the way that you feel. Thanks, childhood. Either way, give yourself some grace and some credit. You're doing a really good job sorting through some really heavy stuff. So for the last few years, I got to go to another part. This right here is why I'm always talking to you guys about like shadows and being triggered and reactions and things like that. Because oftentimes the things that trigger us don't actually have anything to do with what's happening in the moment and have to do with an unhealed wound that's being ripped open, that hasn't been healed. Number 7, you're aware of what's wrong even if you don't know what would be right. I know that it seems like your life should unfold from a place of revelation, that one day you'll wake up and have clarity about exactly what you want and when and where. That is almost never how it works. Real change is almost always catalyzed not by a feeling of inspiration, but a feeling of discontent. Before you know what's right, you'll know what's wrong. This is the scariest part, because without the answers, it seems like the questions are never ending. It seems like you're stuck. It seems like there's no way out. It got so dark here. Interesting. There is, you just haven't thought of it yet. This makes sense because you've also never come to terms fully with what's not really working in your life. When you have the courage to do one, you'll often find the other. 8, you're experiencing serendipitous alignment. Love it. Even if you still feel completely stuck where you are right now, you're starting to connect the dots. Perhaps an opportunity has arisen that you didn't think would. Maybe you happen to meet the right person at the right time. Maybe you see or hear something that you can't help but attribute to being a sign. Maybe something comes together mysteriously well, even despite all of your doubts that it wouldn't. It doesn't all have to be finished right now. The fact that a few pieces are coming together is enough. What's meant for you will come to you, and it will stay with you for as long as it needs to. In this process, you're starting to learn that part of building a life you really want isn't just controlling the inputs and the outcomes, but also surrendering to the possibilities so good you might not have thought to ask for them. There's often a greater plan than yours, but it's not until we surrender that we truly understand the redirection. 9, you're more concerned with being happy than successful. Yes! Years ago, I was only worried about how successful I was as a photographer, and I worked my butt off. And now, being happy is what I prioritize. Whereas you were once mostly interested in earning more or becoming more or securing a better sounding title, you find now that you're trying to build your days around feeling better and enjoying as much as you can. This is a tremendous sign of progress, though it might look on the surface as though you're doing less and being less ambitious. You're becoming ambitious in the ways that truly matter, your heart, your soul, your spirit. And I was talking to my partner this morning about this, about how I was, yesterday I was feeling kind of, meh. And I was, counting my blessings, doing my gratitude work. And one of the things that I was talking to my partner about it this morning is that I am so much happier now, and, I'm more successful now, and I work like the fraction of the time I worked before. Like years ago, I would get up and work. I would get up, go to my computer, start working immediately, editing photos. Then I would have sessions and I would overbook myself. And then I would even stay up all night editing photos. It's all I did was just work, 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 work. And now I find that I spend way more time, prioritizing self-care. I only work a fraction of what I used to work. I prioritize exercise every day, spending time with my kids, helping them, and I'm a much happier person now. Anyway. What if your goal was to enjoy each day as much as you possibly could, to find one gem of gratitude? Gratitude works. Showing gratitude causes more abundance, I'm telling you. To spend uninterrupted time with your loved ones, to enjoy the fresh air, to get a good night's sleep. What would it take for you to feel truly alive each day? That's the question you start asking yourself when you are genuinely making unprecedented progress. 10, you're beginning to understand that there is no finish line. Truth. Healing is a never-ending journey. If you're like most people, you've probably lived the majority of your life waiting for the next thing so that you could finally be happy and free. Growing up means you realize there is no finish line. There is no point at which you just coast. It's a marathon, not a sprint. Instead of arriving as fast as possible, you're now interested in what would be the most sustainable and meaningful long term. You're never going to feel like you've made it. And guess what? You don't want to. You don't want the bar to end there. You don't want to peak so soon. There is no point after which all of your worries will dissolve and your life will become magically effortless and you'll live happily forevermore. There is only the ever present now, and how we show up to it and how we respond to it. That's all we can change. That's all we can aspire to. And that's the end of the chapter, my friends. So I'm really interested in reading this one. I won't read it today. If I come on to do one of these tomorrow, I'll read it tomorrow. But the next one is how to remember you're not alone, even when it really feels like you are. And I feel like that's a really important one. So I'm looking forward to that one. But yeah, we'll read that one next time. And I just grabbed these messages from Spirit for you. I'm just going to get one message for all of us. We can share the message. And let's see. I just heard sharing is caring. So maybe you like Care Bears. I don't know. Okay, that one came out really quick. That came out very quick. Dearest you, you have a unique purpose and destiny that only you can fulfill. But first, you need to know that destiny isn't a destination. You don't arrive at some special place where, poof, you're magic and happy all the time. That's what that book was just talking about. That's magic. It's about establishing and firming up a commitment to a certain experience, whatever form that takes. Your soul knows what you need to experience. Your destiny is to be present to all of your life's adventures, to discover your talents and full potential through allowing inspiration to lead you, and to risk standing apart from the crowd to listen to your soul. You are so special as much as you are also paradoxically, did I say that right? One with the world individual, yet part of the great whole. Both truths have led you to this moment where we are saying you are on the right track, even if your ego self doesn't see that. Listen to your soul, check in with Spirit, keep going. Spirit loves you, life loves you, we love you, I love you. I added the I love you. But it's true, I do love you. So anyway, that was interesting. Really tied in with the very last one in that chapter. Beautiful. That's magic. Anyway, thank you, Spirit, for the magic. I love the magic. Anyway, I'm sending you guys lots of love and light, and hopefully I will be here tomorrow with another Soul Tribe reading. I'll see how my energy is. The plan is to do one tomorrow, though. So again, I'm sending you guys so much love and light and compassion and anything else you're needing. And again, thank you for being here. Thank you for being part of my soul tribe and spending time with me and listening to me, even though sometimes I don't make sense. Anyway, I love you guys so much, and I'll see you tomorrow. Bye.